Go to every audition that you can. Don't pre-think or second thoughts to what if or I can't do this. Just go.
Live from the Never Too Late stage in sunny Sarasota, Florida, it's the Never Too Late Show! Tonight's guest proves it's never too late to reinvent yourself and do what you love. And now, helping women turn what now into watch this, here's your host, Teresa Rowena.
Tonight on It's the Never Too Late Show, I'm joined by Cinda Goeken. She built a full career as a rehabilitation counselor while keeping one foot on the stage every night. Now in St. Pete, she says she didn't retire, she re-geared. These days, she's acting, directing, and teaching theater, proving you can keep your passion alive and thriving at any stage of life. Join me in welcoming Cinda Goeken.
Thank you.
Oh, it's so great to have you with us tonight, Cinda.
I'm glad you asked me. Thank you.
Oh, yes, indeed. So I'm curious, can you, like, you're auditioning now, you're got plays going on. You stay busy all the time, don't you?
I stay busy all the time. And actually, to add to that, the theater, I'm always going to auditions because there seems to be always an opportunity. And I always learn something from auditions. People tell me they hate them. I love them because I always learn something. It's like a good acting lesson. When I wrapped up my counseling career of many years, I really look upon myself as re-gearing. So I don't see myself as a retired person. I see myself as a re-gearing person.
Yeah.
And theater and music and improv and Shakespeare, all of it, directing, all of that just comes into my re-gearing. And the lovely part is I'm passionate about every single part of it. So um, I also have another improv opportunity at St. Pete Beach. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but I guess they're going to make me a guest artist to one of their performances in the upcoming future. So I'll let you know how that goes. We don't
Yeah.
know.
You never know. That's so exciting. Before we go ahead, I'd like to jump back and get the audience kind of caught up with your history so they can really see this contrast that has happened from where you were. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about your career.
I studied theater with a lot of very talented people, some of whom are extremely well known. And so I assessed my own talent and said, Cinda, how do you compare to these people? And I thought, might be a little lacking. So I got an advanced degree, a master's degree in counseling and guidance. And I used that as my career for many, many years, all the while working in theater and music, evenings and weekends. So when I decided to re-gear myself and wrap up my counseling career, the head of my department said, "What will you do now? You have all this time on your hands." I said, "No, I don't have time on my hands. I am a theater artist." And that person was absolutely shocked because she had never seen that side of me as a
Mhm.
counselor, obviously. So I guess I'm a little unique in the fact that I could turn on a dime and now do what I'm passionate about and just keep smiling and keep busy.
That's so awesome. And I love that you, this is, I think a lot of our listeners are in the same position of looking or thinking about reinventing themselves, like
Yes.
taking everything that they have already done and doing something different with it. And that's kind of like what you did. I mean, one of the things I really appreciate about your situation is that you have always known about your passion for theater. Is that correct?
It is correct. I started doing theater when I was 9, and I started singing in public when I was 4. And the
Wow.
passion was there always.
Yeah. So that's the luxury. You know, not everybody has that strong sense of what their passion is, what their spark is, what they really want to do with their lives. So it's great, such a leg up, whenever you already know that. Uh,
Hmm.
and the beautiful thing that you did, unlike many people that may even know what their passion is, but they put it on the back burner. They don't pursue it in their everyday life, their work career and what have you. They get busy with life and children, family, other responsibilities, and they just put themselves on the back burner.
That is true.
And you managed to not do that.
I've been very, very grateful for all the opportunities that come my way, and they just seem to keep coming.
That's great. But here's something I want to ask you. How did you do that? I mean, having a busy life and working and all the things that you were doing, what was your thought process? How did you approach making sure that you had time for your love for the theater?
I think when it's a passion, it doesn't seem um, overwhelming to indulge in it. So my days were very long. I would go to work at my day would begin at 8:30 in the morning and I would finish at 4. I would come home, take a nap. This is Monday through Friday. Take a nap and then go to the theater and work as an actor, a singer, a stage manager quite often. And there were projects that I had that I would head up. So I would devote time to that and go to rehearsals and go to production meetings. And it never seemed to be work because I loved it so much.
So tell me, Cinda, how did your husband feel about you being gone every night like that?
Oftentimes, my husband and I worked together in the theater as much as we could.
Um,
And it was a great asset that he was deeply steeped in theater as well. Oftentimes, I see that sometimes spouses, because theater people are so totally committed time wise and dedication wise and energy wise, sometimes spouses do not understand how big a time and energy commitment theater is. So I was very fortunate that my husband knew all that. That was a foundational understanding between us.
yeah, and he was actually part of it, right?
Yes, yes.
Did you meet in the theater?
We met in a church choir,
Ah,
and little did I know that he had done a lot of work in Shakespearean theater. He was an accomplished actor, also a singer, and little did I know that we had so much in common when we first met.
that kind of sealed the deal, I think, having
It
that much in common like that.
and truthfully, when I saw his Persian cat, that was what sealed the deal. That was the cherry on the
The Sunday.
the the strawberry malt. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
gotcha. That's awesome. Well, all right. So, uh, did you encounter? So, when the time came for you to make the change, that you were ready to re-gear, you were already set to go? Is that right?
I really was. I had an established relationship and a network in Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, and so the regearing was really very easy.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that being aware of your passion early on and
Mhm.
making space for it really makes that transition easy when the time comes, right?
Yes. So there was no traveling in my thoughts. There was no gardening in my thoughts. There was no cooking classes. I mean, I knew right away that I would have time for theater and music and all the aspects of being a theater artist. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. When you think back to leaving your career as a counselor and stepping fully into the theater, uh, what's one thing you know now that you wish you had known then?
I don't think I was aware at the time when I was doing dueling type careers, duo careers is a better way to put it. I don't think I was aware of how much time and energy went into theater. And it didn't seem to be an overwhelming lifestyle. As I look back now, I say, wow, I could have burned out really easily.
So, what would you say to yourself?
Be aware of pacing yourself, Cinda. I think
Mm,
that's what I'd say.
uh-huh. That's very good. So, let me ask you, so what surprised you most about saying yes to a full time career in theater later in life?
Well, I realize that I work now on a contractual basis. So sometimes the theater opportunities, whether it be acting, singing, directing, coaching, teaching, acting, whatever it may be, they kind of go on a cyclical basis. There are times of year, because I'm a contractual worker, that are more busy than others. And there are times of year that have more opportunities than others. So this pacing myself sometimes does come into the picture when I might have to decide, do I want to go for that project or do I want to go for another project? Do I want to take a chance on doing something that I'm really drawn to without knowing if I'm going to be accepted or the contract will not come through? So it's a matter of pacing and it's a matter of luck oftentimes.
Have you ever had dry spells? Have you ever had a period of time when you're thinking, my days may be over?
Yes, I have had dry spells. Sometimes in the summer, it's very, very quiet theater wise. And sometimes I say to myself, oh my goodness, is there going to be a job for me? And then sometimes during the fall, to contrast to that, it gets very, very busy. In August or September, it gets very, very busy. So there are downtimes that are really what I would call dry. Yeah.
So, do you ever get worried during those periods?
Sometimes I do. I begin to think, are there no more opportunities? Are they drying up? Um, and sometimes I try to second guess that, but I stay positive most of the time. And just when I think there may not be an opportunity for me, boom, there they go. One, two, three, four.
Okay.
That's always how it happens.
Well, yeah. So that leads me to what do you do to pick yourself up by your bootstraps whenever you get like doubting or concern?
I love to read, and I read a lot of fiction. I particularly like murder mystery books. Um, And I like to be out in nature. Sometimes I can just go to a park and sit on a bench by myself and enjoy the squirrels and the blooming bushes and the trees and the quiet.
Yeah, that lifts your spirits.
It does. It definitely does. I also am a shopper. I love to go shopping. So there may be something on my list, and that might be a priority. I'm going to X place to shop for X thing. And there's hardly ever a time where I don't enjoy shopping.
That'll always pick you up, right?
It does.
Well, the thing that I really appreciate about what you're saying is that you don't sit around and mope. That I think is the main thing is that we do get to choose our thoughts. And even though it may not feel like it in the moment, but we are not what we think. We can go, whoa, wait a minute, I'm having these thoughts. Let me like do something to like else. How can I bring joy into my life? What can I do to cheer me up? And knowing what those things are, like you do, like reading a book, going into nature, going shopping, having those things ahead of time, knowing that whenever you get down in the dumps or get concerned, those things are readily available for you to go do.
That is true. Or to take a nice bubble bath. So relaxing.
Yeah. Count your blessings, huh?
Absolutely so.
That's great to hear. Well, what other tips do you have for people, big women particularly, who are thinking about maybe they're not going into theater, but it doesn't mean that, what you're going through isn't applicable to them, that whenever you change from regear, as you say, from one thing into another, what words of wisdom would you offer someone who's contemplating that?
I can say communication is key. If I want to reach out to someone either in person, in a one-to-one face-to-face conversation, or if I want to reach out in an email, or if I want to reach out in a text, I am very particular always to choose my words carefully so that I communicate exactly what I want to communicate, so that other people know where I stand, what I think, how I feel. And I expect that same kind of communication from other people. And if I'm down in the dumps and I need a boost of some sort,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask. Maybe I need a hug. It could be as simple as that. Or I need a project if you know of somebody who's hiring. Or I need to just meet you for coffee and talk. Communication is key.
It's so true. And I think a lot of people are, do you find this to be true that a lot of people may be afraid to say what they really think?
I think they are.
Do you ever come up against that? Are you ever afraid to say what you really think?
These days, I really am not afraid to say what I really think. There are theater situations and difficult personalities in theater that sometimes prove to be a challenge. The situations and or the behavior of some theater or artistic type people can be challenging sometimes. But I find that choosing my words carefully and being tactful but firm, which I learned how to do very well as a counselor,
Ah, yes.
can help draw people out.
Mm-hmm.
And I do not have a problem saying what I think or feel or what my opinion is, but I do choose my words carefully.
It's great. One of the things I like to try to do, I think about what would our listeners want to ask you if they were here. And
Yes,
one of the things that I'm wondering about is, have you ever had a situation when things went really wrong? Like you lost um, a great role that you wanted, maybe because you even spoke out. Has that ever happened to you?
I don't recall that it has, but I do recall a difficult situation a few years ago where I landed a lead role. It was a plum role. And into probably about 3 rehearsals, I got medically sick and I had a condition and I had to drop out through no fault of my own. It was just the way life dealt me. And I'm still talking about how saddened I am that I never got to do that role. It was not based on anything I said or any opinion that I voiced that jeopardized my chances to get a role, but it's something that I really feel sad about to this day. Had no control over it. And medically, it took me a good long while to heal from that condition.
I think, if you live long enough, each of us is going to come up against some sort of disappointment in life, right?
Yes, yes.
So, how do you handle it when that comes to mind? What do you do whenever, let me guess, do you go shopping?
I often do mindful meditation,
Mm,
which not only relaxes my brain, we often call it monkey mind.
yep.
When I get monkey mind, I do guided meditation, and it's called mindful meditation. That not only calms my monkey mind, but also calms my body physically. And it's a wonderful, wonderful tool. I can use it anytime I like. And I go to that to relax and to be able to think straight. I also like to drive in my car. I may not even have a destination, it doesn't matter. Driving relaxes me, and I can begin to think straight if my thinking has become sort of garbled.
Yeah,
It's
got
amazing.
it. Got it. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you about, because I have my opinion about this, but I'd like to hear yours. What do you think about the importance of community in regard to your passion for theater? What do you have to say about having your peeps, people who share your passion, having those people in your life?
It's an enormous part of my life. I could also call it networking. Um, it's how I meet people. It's how I know when jobs are coming up that I want to audition for or put in my name for or be a part of a project. Community is enormously important. The old saying that is so true, no man is an island. And that goes for me as well. I am a social creature. And I like to have a community where I can reach out and people reach out to me in return. We exchange information, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent. I learn things from having a sense of community. And connection is a very, very big thing in my life. I feel most blue and most down emotionally when I feel a loss of connection.
Yeah.
And community provides connection for me. It's enormously important.
I totally agree. That's one of the things for me about improv, and I think obviously improv is a sort of theater, and that one thing that it shares with most theater is
Mm-hmm.
that it's nothing that you do alone. This is
Mm-hmm.
not something you do in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the the partnership. It's a creative, collaborative process. Improv is not the same. I mean, it's stand up. Stand up comedy is one thing, and even stand up comics have their support systems, but
Mm-hmm.
still having someone to create with
Mm-hmm.
and create art together with creates a bond. And I think it's just a very, very special thing.
I think for people who are not in theater, it might be difficult to understand that every time we put a project together, whether it be Shakespeare, whether it be improv, whether it be a comedy, a musical, a staged reading, anything theatrical like that, the cast becomes in a bonding sense emotionally. And when the project is over, there is always that time where I feel a letdown emotionally. It takes me a few days to wind down from that sense of community, that sense of collaboration, that sense of being in a boat and rowing together. When it's over, it's always very sad.
Yeah,
And without question, that is always something that happens emotionally. Now, some casts are closer than others. It's sort of like an extended family when you're in the project. Some casts are not as close, but there is always that emotional letdown. And I allow for that.
yeah. I think that that's one thing about, regardless of what your passion is. It could be something that could be more of a solo sport, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
like being an artist, maybe a
Mm-hmm.
sculptor or a painter or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, that doesn't necessarily require community. But I feel like that is the number one thing that anyone needs, especially during this vulnerable time of finding your spark and trying to make space for it in your life. To having the partnership with other people who might be in the same spot. I mean, I know people who I had a guest on just yesterday, and she was talking about she's a solopreneur, and she has her best friend is a solopreneur in another state, and that they will just call each other. They'll meet on Zoom, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, for example, and say, "This is what I'm going to be working on for the next couple of hours," and the other explains, and then they just put it on mute, and they just get busy, and they might check in and say, "How's it going?" And just to have that shared um, um, connection with someone, I think is very important. And science is backing it up that as we age, how important uh, uh, community, friends, a group of close friends is. And that's one of the beautiful things about the theater. It kind of comes with that baked in, doesn't it?
It surely does. And that sense of connection that I mentioned before now comes up again as being so important. Now, I myself have times where I want to be by myself and to recharge my batteries. And I don't mean that
Yeah, of course
not
not.
only literally, but figuratively as well. But the sense of connection for me has to be there. If it's not there, I am kind of a broken spirit.
I hear you, and I'm glad you brought that up because it's so true. Having a close knit community doesn't mean that you have to be, constantly together. I think all of us need some time to recharge our batteries and have some quiet time to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves. It's in varying degrees for people, but I
Mm-hmm.
think that is like there. But then even that is more productive and better serving whenever you know that you have your peeps, your community that's there for you whenever you're ready for them.
I totally agree with that. Yes.
And don't you love it how whenever you go, you could go to another city. You could pack up right now and you could go to Atlanta, or you could go to Chicago, or you could probably even go to, a little town like Columbia, Tennessee, and find people with a shared passion that you could immediately connect with.
It's a wonderful feeling. I want to go to Savannah where they do some really good improv, I've been told.
Yes,
And I would feel at home there.
absolutely. Wow. This has just been such a pleasure, Cinda, speaking with you and hearing about your experience. I'm sure our listeners will get a lot out of your wisdom that you've shared with us today.
Thank
And
you. I appreciate that.
well, in closing, one of the things that we always do on It's the Never Too Late show is to have our rapid fire round. And that's
Okay.
when I'm going to ask you some questions and you just answer the first thing that comes off the top of your head. All right?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Okay. Last thing that made you laugh out loud.
Improv.
What's your improv where?
Spitfire and St. Pete.
Okay, good. If your life were a movie, what would it be titled?
This is an amazement.
That's great. What's something you believed at 30 that you don't believe now?
I believe that rich people were nice.
Okay.
I learned that isn't so.
All right. What's your favorite guilty pleasure?
Um, at the end of the day, I usually make myself a fruit smoothie as a snack, and I always look forward to that. It's almost like ice cream. I love it.
Excellent. And that's not even anything to be guilty about. That's just a
No,
pleasure.
it's a
That's awesome.
pleasure.
Okay, so here's the last question is if you could have dinner with any one person, living or not, who would it be?
Abe Lincoln, without question. There is something about Abe Lincoln, his story, his demeanor, his personality that I've always been drawn to. I think he really was a very wise, down to earth man.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So now then, the very final thing is a favorite joke, riddle, funny saying, anything like that that always makes you smile. Do you have one of those to share with us?
I do. The saying is, if it ain't fun, I ain't doing it.
Those are words of wisdom. I love it. So thank you so much for being with us this evening, Cinda. It's been great to have you on the show. And
Thank you.
and I can't wait to hear what else is you're going to be up to. I love to see you perform and listen to you sing. So keep me posted, and I'm sure our paths will cross again very soon.
They will. Thank you so much. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you, Cinda.
Thanks for spending time with us on It's the Never Too Late Show. Like, subscribe, and share the spark. Because reinvention's more fun with friends. Not sure what your spark is? Take the quiz at itsthenevertoolateshow.com. Until next time, stay bold, stay curious, and we'll catch you later, Gator.